moment, and Anuj, as the top retail advisory in the country, you have both a broad as well as a deep view of what's happening in the retail landscape in the country. Where does Broadway fit into this from that lens?
I'm going to continue actually a little bit of Rana's story where he said that retail in the world started in the 1800s, and really for about hundreds of years we didn't see any change in it. Retail really is nothing but let's say it's consumption to some pattern. Now, you saw decades of radio advertisements happening. Then you had television that came in. Then sorry, print came in. Then television came in. And then you suddenly had a short time where you saw everything from BBM to Facebook to Instagram to all this social media that has come on board. Also, I think the Indian consumer over the last 10 years or the last 20 years has suddenly become very well traveled. And I think the audience that we're looking at now in some way has skipped generations and moved extremely, extremely fast. I think what Broadway, from that perspective, brings to the table is this offline, online, the digital world coming into the physical world. And that's really what we're kind of taking out there and showcasing. On the retail side, we're talking about bringing all these online brands offline. And I was picking up this data from somewhere earlier today. You have about 100 and so like Vivek said, we have at any point of time, let's say 120 to 180 brands in our stores anywhere in the country. But you have 150 brands a month that are getting launched. So that's about 1,800 a year that we're talking about. And these could be at different scales. You have about 150 brands today who've done extremely well and probably crossed over 100 crore turnover just on online sales. Probably 300 brands at 50 crore plus turnovers. And this market is really not matured. It's really half a decade old in terms of the market. So I think the runway for this is really long and extremely large as Broadway continues to expand. Really on the real estate side, again, like we said, malls have really not changed. They've become larger. They're giving a larger offering. But from being pure shopping destinations, they're now moving towards being more places of social infrastructure. Where people want to come and meet, greet, eat, watch a movie. They don't necessarily come to shop anymore. It's a place where they want to gather. I think what we're trying to create at Broadway and where Broadway exactly fits in well is that it's somewhere where you can come and meet your friends. You can come and see those influencers that you've always been just seeing digitally. It's somewhere where you can come and eat, you can try, you can go to consultation rooms. So, I mean, there are various parts of Broadway and various contents of Broadway that you can come and experience at that store. And I think that piece will really start to differentiate when really retail asset owners start to look at this. So from that perspective, this is extremely, extremely distinct in my mind. And I think it's got a great way forward from here on.
Just taking off from Manoj, Apurva, this question's for you. What do brands have at Broadway beyond showcase and studio offerings?
Again, I think as we've kind of slowly, the word around Broadway has kind of percolated in the ecosystem, there has been, honestly, just tremendous amount of interest and intrigue. We've had, consumer funds reach out to us in terms of trying to figure out how they can engage with us. We've had, of course, we've been engaging with a whole plethora of brands, influencers, communities around influencers. So there is, for one, there is a program which we are creating, which is in the works, which is a Broadway X, funds, loosely to kind of put the word, where we are, funds are trying to see how do they, look at various experiments in the offline world, how are various products performing at early stages, can Broadway be a platform for that? Can they also possibly have, some kind of their own visibility at these stores as they kind of look at, raising funds over the year. Similarly, for very young brands, a terminology which we very commonly use in the startup ecosystem is PMF, or product market fit. So is there an opportunity for, in a small way, for some of these brands to come in either directly through an accelerator kind of a program? So we are creating, what we are loosely kind of at this point calling a Broadway accelerator, brand accelerator program. And so to test out early product market fit, to create visibility, along with influencers and all of that. So there are various opportunities, and we are creating these two programs which are in the works, and we'll announce them in more detail as we go along. But a lot of opportunities coming as part of these two programs.